If your referral that you're sending them is going to demand more involvement, it should affect the agreed percentage that you're talking about. So how do you ask? How do you start a referral fee process? How does that come on? And I'm going to start this with understanding of why you're important to this. You already have built a relationship with this client. You either helped them into the home that they're in, or you helped them sell the home of why they're leaving. So one way or the other, if you stayed top of mind, you did all your follow-up, you built the relationship, the client trusted you for this. So every single real estate transaction that I'm embedded in, they hear about referrals consistently. Hey, by the way, if you know any family and friends, not just in Florida, that need my services, need my help, you enjoy doing business with me, please refer me to them. If I can't help them, I will find an equal calibered agent in their state so they don't have to just pick and choose from the internet or pick and choose from Zillow or whatever agent is just handed to them because they called with interest of a house blindly. We do have a level of service that's out there. A lot of us are on the Better Business Bureau. We are stack ranked, if you will, inside of our areas. And honestly, if I'm going to provide a quality of service like this in Florida, I want the same quality of service, if not better, if my client's moving to another state. I don't want them to have to deal with no offense, newbies, but a brand new agent that may not have proven their salt or their worth yet. So here's how you kind of approach this conversation, right? Securing that referral fee is going to require clear communication and professionalism between you and the agent that you're sending your client to. Agents should confidently be able to present a referral request and a written agreement while ensuring transparency and fairness. So here's how you approach that conversation. First off, you can establish the value of the referral. So before you even make the request, highlight the value of who you are bringing to them. Most people are going to be a little hesitant. Why would someone give me a lead? Why would someone be handing me somebody? They must be difficult. This isn't the case with referrals. This isn't necessarily a lead handoff. You can't do business where the client's going. You still have the opportunity to capture some of the real estate work that you had done, and you may lose that client forever. They may never return to your home state or business area. You want to make sure that you can capture one more percentage and make sure to take care of them. That relationship has a value to your business, and that's the way it should be thought of. So highlight the value of the referral to the person that you're referring into. Emphasize how the client's qualified. How motivated are they? How ready are they to proceed? What capability do they have to proceed? And how can you make the transition beneficial to both parties? Then be clear and concise, and for that matter, direct. You need to absolutely set the expectation for the referral fee upfront. Avoid the vague language. Make sure the receiving agent knows exactly what you're expecting, what type of percentage is being requested, and ensure they're on board with it before you give them any information. Sorry, but if I'm going to bring you to my friend in New York or Tennessee or Colorado, I'm going to have an agreement in place before I give you any of that information. I'm not going to have you calling my client a week later saying, hey, did you ever find a real estate agent you wanted to work with? Alex had told me about all of your information before. I just want to make sure my name's on the list for interviewees. Referencing the industry standards. Most referral fees fall within that 20, 25, 35%. It's still a pretty good range when you look at the amount of money in the commission. There needs to be an understanding of what the receiving agent's commission is going to be. And you need to cite these industry norms on how to make the industry or the negotiation itself a little bit smoother. You need to absolutely put it in writing. After you have that verbal handshake, you want to make sure that as a formal real estate agent, a referral agreement from your state to them outlines all the key terms. What's the percentage? What are the payment conditions? If there's an expiration date, it needs to be on there. And it's a written contract. It protects both of you and ensures there are no misunderstandings. If you find out from this person you referred upstate that they went through with the transaction and you weren't paid or you weren't considered, then if several things happened that shouldn't have happened. You didn't get that agreement over like you needed to. You did not get a copy of that agreement to the brokerage. The brokerages need to sign off on any of these referrals that are done. This is not an agent to agent signature. This is a brokerage to brokerage signature. So they have a business requirement and a business liability to make sure those commissions are paid appropriately. And maintain your professionalism, please. Even if other agents decline your referral fee, keeping that conversation professional is going to strengthen relationships for the future. They just may not know you or may not have time for the referral or may not trust what you're telling them. They don't know if they don't know you enough. Don't be upset if they say no, I'm simply not interested. Or that's a little further out than I like to work. Even with the opportunity for a commission, that's not something I'm interested in. Be fine with that and then seek within your professional network to be able to find someone else. Follow up. We say this on every single class. Once the deal is in progress, check in periodically with the agent. Make sure that things are on track. You do not want to derail anything or be try to over professional the person that's actually doing the work in the other state. If some questions come up and the old client just liked the way you explained things better, all of you get on the phone together. Never undermine the agent doing all of the work. You can't be the top dog in a transaction in another state. You're going to have to let them do their job. And they may be following the rules and guidelines of their brokerage that you may not be aware of either. So make sure that you're following up to make sure that everything is just remaining on track. After the closing, politely remind the agent of, hey, don't forget our terms and how is the timeliness of your brokerage in sending our brokerage that referral payment. Keep it confidential, but absolutely stay professional. Ask for your referral fee. Agents will maximize their earnings while they foster a strong industry relationship, and that's absolutely worth it. And believe me, real estate, as many of us that are in the business around the United States especially, it's a small world. If you're out there creating turmoil, one of us is going to hear about it in the state that you're doing business. Let's talk a little bit about the elements of a real estate referral agreement too. If it's well structured, it should be simple. It ensures simple clarity and fairness for both parties. We have a Florida referral fee form that shows the originating agent, the receiving agent, the brokerages are both listed, what the expectations are, what was the agreed payment, and how it's going to be paid by the brokerage itself. You want to make sure before you're sharing and accepting referral leads that you understand the key terms so there's no miscommunication. You don't want to have said something, they misunderstood it, and when the paperwork gets to the brokerage, the broker has a conversation going, what is this? And how do they retain all rights to the client moving forward? If you don't pay attention to each state's referral agreement, you can end up in some interesting positions. But strong referral agreement should include your name and contact information, the client's name and contact information, the referral fee expectation, the percentage, the conditions for that payment should be outlined very clearly so that they know how it's going to be paid, such at the successful closing of a transaction. The expiration date should be clearly posted. Set a time frame so that you can ensure the agreement remains valid for the period necessary for your client to buy a home in that other area. And then, of course, signatures from both sides. Both agents should sign it to formalize the agreement. Both brokerages should also sign it to formalize the agreement between the pass-through. Look, be prepared. Having a pre-made referral agreement will save you a lot of time and ensure a smooth process whenever you're referring these opportunities to different agencies. A very simple, ready-to-use contract will allow the agents to fill in the details and proceed very efficiently. If you're looking for a free, easy referral agreement, there are tons of them inside of your MLS systems. There are shareable document systems that are in there too, and it needs to make sense in your state. Let's get you to the why. Why would an agent refer a client? There are a list of reasons that I've already kind of touched on while we talk today, but it always comes down to ultimately you need to put the client's best interest ahead of the transaction. A referral is going to ensure that they receive the expertise and the service that best fits their needs. It may be necessary when a work falls outside of your scope and your capacity, and it allows the client to be better served. So don't be afraid to, I know a person, and bring them to it. You probably refer clients to insurance professionals, cleaning professionals, moving professionals, lending professionals all the time. This is no different. An agent to agent referral, however, has a larger piece of the pie at risk. So you just want to make sure to keep the professionalism up. Real estate agents should consider referring clients to other agents under most of these situations. If there's a geographic limitation where the client's interested in buying, selling a property outside of your normal market or region, consider referring them. Specialized expertise. If the client is requiring the expertise that falls outside of that agent's specialty, if they are a veteran client and they need to buy within a certain area of a military base, for example, military isn't your thing, you don't understand what the commutes look like, you don't understand the interworkings of a military family or how they need to have some additional attentions and what they need to consider whenever they're making decisions, then you need to refer them into a VA expert, someone that knows that. The SRES, if you've got clients that are senior citizens or anything like that, you need to be considerate of who is your client, who do they work with well, what is their story, so you're referring them into the right places. You might not specialize in commercial properties, luxury estates, farms, or wide open spaces, but you know another agent that can. Don't be afraid to refer them in so that your client gets the best experience. It's the experience they're going to remember that's still going to get you a reference later on. Remember, they know people where they moved from. They're going to share your name. Hey, Bill, if you're still living in Florida, don't forget to talk to Alex. He took care of us even when we moved across the country. Too many clients. That's another reason. If the agent has accepted too many clients and is just simply overwhelmed, they're not going to be in a position to provide the services that the client needs within the timeliness that they need to handle their case. So don't be afraid to, when overloaded, refer to another agent, even within your own agency.